Hello everyone, it's Natasha from Treasure Books. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how I created these gift bags from recycled materials. So from the paper inside to the book pages that I used outside. I know that a lot of us have unused book pages that we don't know what to do with and we don't want to throw them out. So this is another perfect idea of using up those pages. The intention for these bags originally, in my eyes, was to use them for journals, so either to house journals or to gift journals in. So that was my idea, but this construction can be applied for any size. You can even make tiny little bags that you can put inside journals. So there's, many options that you can do with these, and I'm going to teach you exactly how I did it. It's very simple. Once you know how to construct a gift bag, it's so simple, and there are many different variations you can do, and many different ways you can use this project. So without further ado, let's begin. Okay guys, so these are my little notes, and now we're going to start from the beginning. The first thing you want to do is decide on size. So I didn't actually measure anything. I didn't sort of take my journal, look at it to decide on size. But what I mean by that is, do you want little bags like this? Do you want bags, slightly bigger bags like this? Do you want really quite large bags or even larger than this? Or do you want smaller bags than this? That's what I mean, so decide on size. So I will just give you an example before we begin. This size uses one A4 sheet of paper. This one here, you can see it's wider and it's a little bit taller. This one uses two sheets of paper. Two A4 sheets of paper like this. This one here, I used 3 sheets of paper, and then a third one here. So, and then if you wanted to go bigger, you can add, so if you wanted to have a wider bag, you can add a 4th sheet of paper. Or you can add more down here, so you will have a wider bag and you will have a taller bag. So I would suggest that you start from just using the 1 sheet of paper. Maybe start from these little ones if you have mini journals that you want to house. Or I actually began with this size. It was this size. I mean, it was quite a nice size and perfect for most journals, I think. So that's what we're going to do first, decide on size. And for this video, I'm actually going to make this size. Okay, so now we've decided what size we're going to do. Let's begin. So the second thing we want to do is glue book pages onto paper. But because we are using 2 sheets, and now let me just show you this here. To be thrifty, I'm actually using paper that's been printed on, that I don't need anymore. So that's, got one clear side. So you can use, colored paper, you can use scrapbook paper, you can use any paper you want, but I like recycling and being thrifty, so I'm actually going to use this paper. And so the first thing I want to do is, because I'm using 2 sheets of paper, I want to actually glue them together. So I will just use my, this is a quick drying glue. I prefer to use glue. I mean, you can use double-sided sticky tape, double-sided tape, but sometimes like if you have a project for many years, what I found is that it can leave an oily residue. So I wouldn't mind that on the bottom of the bag, as you'll see, but right in the middle of the bag, it's not, I don't think it would be a good look. So I'll just go with glue. I glue the 2 sheets of paper together, so with only a small overlap. I hope that you can see this. There's a tiny little overlap here, so that you can glue them together and you can have one large sheet. So this clear side is actually going to be the inside of my journal. And you know what? Side note, what I love about this glue is that it rubs off like rubber erasings. I just love it. Okay, so this will be our good size. So this will be inside, as you will see, let's say here. So you want clear inside. I mean, it might not be important to you, but so this will be our inside, which means this will be my outside. So I'm going to be gluing my book pages right on top of the writing here. All right, let's begin. So for this step and for the purpose of this video, I'm just going to use standard book pages. For these projects here, you will see that there's different colors on the bags. So what I did there is I had book pages which I just watercolored. It was a crafty session with my kids. We had fun, and plus I could use it in my projects. So that's another thing that you can do. Just put some watercolor on the books and then glue it on. So for this video, I'm just going to do these clear book pages. Okay, so this is my glue that I'm going to use. It's PVA glue. You can use any PVA glue. It's just white craft glue. And I mix it in with water. So 3 parts glue to 1 part water. I'm pretty sure. I don't ever measure anything. I just kind of go with it. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to coat my book pages. One thing that I look for in book pages is I don't want there to be a lot of dialogue. Like for example here, there's dialogue and there's there's a lot of white spaces. So for some reason I don't like that. So I look for book pages that preferably will just have, you know, a description of something, and it will just be a full page of words. So that's the sort of thing I look for. It's not, you know, something that you have to do, but it's just something I'll look at. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to use this side. So I'll put my glue on this side, and then I will glue it right in the corner here. So that way I'm actually covering quite a large area. Rather than ripping up little pieces and then gluing them everywhere, I'm going to cover the area completely and then glue little pieces here and there. So let us begin. So I will just make sure that everything is coated completely with my glue mixture. So I don't want any missed spots. I want everything to be completely covered, and if that means a little bit extra glue, then so be it. I usually like to wear gloves for this process because I don't like touching the glue with my hands. So I just want to line it up over here. If you have a bit, you know, sticking out, you can always come back and cut it later when it's dry. Okay, so that one's done. The next one I might lay this way. Okay, so I want to cover as much area as possible in, you know, as a little time, I guess. Okay, so one thing that I don't like is straight edges. So I just want to make sure that all of my straight edges are covered. So now I will start with these last few bits. I will start doing the, you know, okay, so now that nearly everything is glued down, I still have a tiny little spot here. So now I want to add some little strips that go each and every way, so that it's not all, you know, straight lines like this. And I definitely want to cover up all of my straight lines that I have here. So now I will start to, for example, have bits that, you know, no straight edges, and then I can do something like this, that sort of thing. So that's what I'm going to do now. Okay, so now you can see that we've covered the 2 sheets together. I mean, not together, we've covered them completely. So you will see that some of the writing goes the right way, some is upside down, some is this way, some is that way. So, you know, everything's sort of all over the place. So now that this is done, and you will see that on the back side, you know, that writing that you saw, it's all completely covered up. So now we'll let this dry, and I'm just going to set this aside, and for the purpose of this video, I'm going to just continue on. I will use one that's already dry. Okay, so once your project is dry, you want to seal it. You don't have to, it's optional. But the reason why I have sealed it, and you can see there's a slight, oh, you probably, no, you can't see in the video, but there's a slight shine to it. And it feels much nicer when it's sealed, especially if you're using pages that have watercolor on them. They feel very chalky, and the watercolor, the color can sometimes stay on your hand. It feels really chalky and dry, and I hate that feeling. But if you seal them, that you can see the bit of shine here, they feel nicer and they feel finished. So it's not, you know, something that you have to do, but it's up to you. I used, let me just get it. Let me just say that you can use hairspray. If you haven't got any of the fancy products in your house, you most definitely can use hairspray. The only issue with hairspray is over the years, your project will yellow. Now, these gift bags, I really don't think, you know, they are being constructed to last 20-30 years, right? So for this project, you most definitely can use hairspray. I used what I had in the house. I just have this matte varnish. I think it's for like acrylic paints and stuff like that. I don't paint, so I just use that. And I've also got this clear acrylic sealer, transparent. So I don't even, I mean, I got it on sale. I wasn't even sure what it is. It's sitting in my cupboard, not used. So that's what I used. It's a sealer, and I just used it. I wouldn't waste money. I wouldn't use, for example, those expensive brush-on sealers, like things like this, you know. I wouldn't waste product for this project. So the cheapest thing you can find, which is probably hairspray, go for it. All right, so once we have sealed, you want to, before constructing the bag, you want to decide how you're going to decorate the bag. So, for example, this one here, I used a napkin that I just laid on top, and then I went over it with PVA glue. I'm not sure what I'm going to do for this video, but let's keep going. So another thing you can do is, like, for example, on this one, I've created a little pocket here. Also on this one, I have a little pocket at the front, so there's some tags in there. And this is really nice because you can put in tags, you can write notes on the pocket, you can write notes on the tags, you can have a letter in the tag, in the pocket. So this is really, really fun. It adds extra interest. I really like that. So now's the time really to decide what you're going to do. Here I used a little flower that I made. You can do, what else have we got? We've got napkin, pocket, flowers, collage. So coming back to this journal that you might have seen at the start of the video, it's just a journal I'm creating at the moment, and this is a little collage that I created. There's a few different things put together, a few different laces, and actually a book page here, and you know, all sorts of things. So you can do a little collage, and then you can glue it on, you can sew it on directly onto the bag. Another thing you can do is add beads. So like, for example, something like this, you can add beads, or even better, if you have a beaded trim, this is gorgeous. So this can be sewn on. If you know, have a look at what you have. So this can be sewn on at the top of the bag, so that would look really cool. Then buttons, you can decorate with buttons. By sprays, I mean this sort of thing. You can spray it. You can, you know, use sprays to add color to the bag. Sewing, you can sew directly onto the bag. I actually sew the tops. I will show you that in the next step. But it's important to decide now, before we continue, what you're going to do, because some of the things you can't do once the bag is constructed. Like, for example, what can't you do? This, for example, is easier if you have a flat surface and you can just, you know, work on it. I guess you could, but I like to decide before the next step. So Okay, I've decided for this project to do a pocket, only because firstly I wanted to do the napkin, but I would have to wait for it to dry. So I don't have the time at the moment. So what I'm going to do is a pocket, something like this, and that can be, this is actually glued on rather than sewn on because I didn't want to have the sewing here. But you most definitely can sew the pocket onto the bag, in which case you would do that now before assembling the bag. But because I decided to do a pocket, which I'm going to glue on later on, I can actually go ahead and construct my bag and then add the pocket. So now we're going to assemble the bag. This here is not going to make any sense until you see me do it, or if you know how to do it. Okay, so first, I wonder if I can keep it here so that you can see. Flip the top side down to neaten the edge. So let's see, what do I want the top to be? Oh, this is going to be my top. So I just want to fold it down. Now, because you have glue and you have 2 or 3 layers of paper, it might be a little bit harder to fold down. So I just kind of do this, and then I want to line it up here, and I want to make sure that it's even everywhere, evenly folded everywhere. I don't want to have a, you know, crooked top. So now here in this part, you want to glue this down. You can glue it down or you can sew it down. I'm going to sew it, and I just use a zigzag stitch catching both of the papers. Okay, so I've sewn that on, and you can see here on this side already there's a little bit of interest added. I don't know what happened here with my machine. I went a bit crazy, but I'm just going to go with it. And this is going to be covered anyway. So we have we've done the top to neaten the edge, and now we want to meet the 2 ends and then glue it down, or I will actually use my double-sided sticky tape. So now I just want to sort of have it in the middle approximately. Okay, so I'm just going to do it here, and I want to line up the top and then gently press the sides. So I don't want to really have really strong creases at the sides. If I can avoid it, like you can see that there's some creases here, but it's not a complete, you know, strong crease. So now we are going to glue this down. So I'm going to put, just want to see how much. Okay, so I'm going to use double-sided sticky tape. So with this project, really, you can go as elaborate as you want or as simple as you want. So you might think this is too much work to be putting into a bag. Other people might, you know, love the project and want to spend days making bags. So really, you know, this can be part of the journal. The bag can be part of the journals, depending on how special you want to make it. So now I just want to make sure that everything is lining up beautifully. Okay, so we have glued, we have met the 2 ends. Okay, so now what I've been doing is, I don't like, you can just leave it as it is, that's fine. But I like to, I don't like 2 things. I don't like seeing this seam here, and I don't like the straight lines. So what I have done in my bags, can you see the back? You can't see the, sorry, my camera's shaking. You can't see the 2 ends meeting. See? And can you see what I've done? I've covered it up because I don't like it. So I've completely covered it up, and I'll show you how I do it. It's really quite straightforward, but you want to grab your book pages again. So we're doing the same thing. We're just adding glue onto our little strips. Okay, so then what I like to do at the top, I just want to blend it in on the inside, so it has to be lined up perfectly. Okay, and glue it down. No straight edges. I'm just going to do this. So at the bottom, I don't want to be folding it in, so I'm not going to be folding it over because you'll be able to see that on the inside. I'll show you in this one. See how I fold? That's what happens if you fold it in. So you want the bottom edge to be all white all around. And I'm just going to do just one more like this. Okay, that's it, that's done. So I might just wait a little bit for this to dry, and then we'll continue on with the next step. Okay, so now I've decided how I'm going to decorate. I've sealed the back, and now we will assemble the rest of the bag. So here's this confusing area. So this is our top of the bag, this is the bottom. So here you can decide how much you want the bag to open. So you can see down the bottom here, this is about, I don't know, maybe an inch and a half, 3 centimeters. So it's about an inch and a bit. So this is where you decide how much you want the bag to open. If you want a wide bottom, then you would have to, but then you lose quite a lot of the bag. So what I did, this is just approximate. So this is my front. So I'm going to work from the back. And I fold it up like this. We are up to here. Flip the bottom up. So that's what I'm doing. The bottom is being flipped up. Now this is a little bit, if you're using quite thick materials, and because I've got layers of book pages and stuff, so this is a little bit rigid, and also I've sealed it too. So just work your magic slowly, carefully. Okay, so now you want to open. Let's open, and you will see you want to fold the 2 ends in. So it's opened, and now you're folding these 2 ends in. So you can see the crease here, and my fold, I want to line them up. And then I'll do the same on this side. Okay, line them up and fold down. Okay, and now you're left with, so now you just have to close it. So you want to fold the 2 ends in. So when I fold slightly, they have to overlap. So if you fold in the middle, then they'll just meet in the middle, but they have to overlap. So you want to slightly fold over the fold here that you can see. So, and now I want really crisp edges here. So I'll just use my bone folder a little bit. And now I'm going to do this part here. Okay, so the ends are overlapping. So the next thing you have to do is just glue it. It's up to you how you want to do it. So I am going to use, I've used sticky tape on the others. So I'm just going to use a little bit of my quick drying glue. Now, if you're using glue, because you might not want to stay closed. So for example, I've put glue on, and now it's going to want to open. See? So that's why I've used sticky tape. You can use double-sided sticky tape, double-sided tape too, whatever you think is best. It's the bottom of the bag, so we just want it to stay closed. That's all. That's the purpose of this area of the bag. It just needs to stay close. So whatever you want to do, you can do. Okay, so that's our bag. Okay, so now I'm going back to decorate because I want to decorate my front. This is my back, and the only reason why I know it's my back is because of this. That doesn't bother me at all. So This is my front here. So what I decided to do is I'm going to do a pocket. So I'm just using just a journaling card, which I want to decorate a little bit. So you can go crazy here with decorations and things, but I'm just looking at what I want to do. Now I'm going to add a flower. These are some of the flowers that I made, and I have a tutorial for them. I'll link it down below. So I think this is going to look good, something like that, maybe. Some flower, maybe that's too much. I'll just keep the two. Okay, so I might glue this down and then glue the flowers down. So let me just say, when you're gluing the pocket down, because the bag is now slightly curved when it's opened, or if you do it when it's closed, you glue it down. Once you open it, it might be really, really tight, so you won't be able to put things in, which I've done here, so that's why I'm saying. So like it's quite tight. I mean, it still, you know, works, but it's a little bit hard to get this tag out because I did it when the bag was flat. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I will just glue it down when it's flat like this. But before the glue is completely dry, I will open up the bag and maybe just slightly open it up. So, and I want to make sure that it stays glued, so I'll have to reapply a bit of pressure here. So this is why it's good to have a quick drying glue, or, you know, once again, double-sided sticky tape. That's probably the best option for this part here. Okay, the next thing I want to do is add my flowers like this. And then I just found some tags, some journaling spots, and, you know, whatever, anything you want can go into the pocket. Why not? Pop that in there. So that looks really cute. Then I can, you know, you can decorate the tags. I've added a bit of lace on this one. On this one here, I just added a bit of bits and like offcuts and, you know, just little bits and pieces. This is a little cluster that I made. So you can go crazy with this part. Okay, so our last step is to add handles. So I have used ribbon. I have used thick ribbon like this. Then I've used this trim, whatever it is. Then here I've used this. So whatever you have that matches your bag. Here I've used this ribbon. For this bag, I'm actually going to use a cord. I found this in my stash, and I think it will look really nice. So that's what I'm going to do. So the first thing is punching holes. I do it approximately. So let's say here, and is that about right? I want them, you know, to be the same distance away from the edge, if I can. So you can measure. Because my cord is quite thick, I'm going to use my bigger circle punch. Okay, so I've got this really little one here, and I've got the big one. So for thin materials like this, I used my little hole punch. So it just makes a smaller hole. It's not very, oh, it's worked this time. So you can see, it just depends on what you're going to use. And because my cord is quite thick, I'm going to use my bigger one. So when you're punching the holes, you just want to make sure that it's aligned here. And then you don't want to be too close to the edge because there's going to be stress, you know, on the handle. So you want to move a little bit further down, like that. And that's about it. And also, because there will be stress here, I think I'm going to add these, what are they called? Circle protectors. I don't know what they're called. So just to add a little bit of protection. They're just clear. I know there's white ones. I can never find white ones because the white ones you can distress, and this will look really cool distressed into brown. Okay, now I'm adding my handles. I go from the outside in because you want your knot on the inside. Tie a knot. If you're using thin materials like that, ribbons and things like that, you might want to do 2 knots. You just want to make sure that it's not coming out, obviously. And so when you're tying the second handle, the second part, this is when you decide how large you want your handle to be or how long. So I'll tie it about here. Let's see. I'm quite happy with that. So now I just want to trim these two. I don't want them to be so bulky. So just trim. And now I do the same on the other side. Okay, when you're doing the second handle, you need to make sure that your handles are the same size. So what I do is just make sure they're the same size. So a little bit further, a little bit more. That's exactly the same. So now I have to make a knot right here. So I'll just pull it out. And you know, if you make a mistake, you can always, so you just keep checking and rechecking. So it's slightly shorter, so now that means I need to loosen this up a little bit. Okay, so now for this final step, we get to admire our project. We've got our gift bag down here. We have some, we have a pocket. We have some handmade flowers, some tags in here, journaling spots or tags. A little bit of lace would look really nice here. Maybe a letter to the recipient would look really cool. We've got the gold handles, and this is the back. It's nice and sealed and protected, and no edges are to be seen. So if you are storing the bag for future use, you can just fold it back up like so, so it's flat. You can make little tiny gift bags that can go inside journals, or little gift bags for mini journals. That would make a beautiful Christmas present. So there's an idea for you. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that you feel inspired to make some. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comment section below. I do read all of my comments and respond as well. So that is it from me today. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.